What's going on, guys? Give me a second. Yep. What's going on, Attacker Squad? It's your boy Roman, aka Mr. Enemy 343, back at it once again. And for this live stream, I want to talk to you guys about this issue that's been going on. Don't pay any attention to that. Just getting some notifications and basically still waiting on some guests if anybody's actually interested in joining our little conversation, of course. Give me a second. I will actually add the link to the chat if anybody actually wants to join in on the fun as well. Alrighty then. I'll let the StreamYard link. So if anybody's actually interested in joining this conversation with me, yo, Mad Matt, what's up, man? Sets, you're actually interested in joining the conversation with me here, I'll let the little link to the description and not in the description, but also in the chat. So if you're actually interested in just jumping on and chiming your 2 cents in, I'd be more than happy to actually have you on. So totally up to you, dude. I mean, today's topic I want to talk to you guys about is the problem with Weebguilts and fake anime fans. I know there's a lot of people out there that actually kind of push a narrative against us and stuff like that. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't even fathom what's going on here. So if anybody's actually, like I said, if anybody's interested in, jumping on, I can only allow 6 people at a time. So, hang on, I got a guest. Yeah, it's D&D girl. Hang on. Whoops. Hold on, D&D girl. I'll let you on the stream.
Hello. Do I sound any better? Because I made sure. Because I basically made sure I had a book to put my iPad on.
Okay, well, I can actually hear you just fine. So anyway, the reason why I actually created this live stream here is because basically I'm actually simply talking about Weebguilts and fake anime fans.
Oh, are we talking about what's her face who complained about male anime pervs, but conveniently forgot about the much worse female anime perv?
Exactly. Yeah, that one. That's the one.
Because I'm sorry, if I was told, okay, you have to choose between this girl who put her love juice in cookies over Mineta who's gonna ogle you, I'm gonna be like, if all he's doing is ogling, I'd rather him because at least bodily fluids are not going into my food.
No. That does not really set well with me. And I cried so hard, the left side of my jaw just locked up a little bit. Ugh. God damn.
Then there's the fact that if you really watch the anime, the guys usually get the shit beat out of them, or at least memed in some way.
Exactly. But you see, people don't understand that. They don't understand that, we enjoy anime as a whole. And these people nowadays, they don't watch anime just for, entertainment purposes. They just watch it just for the sake of actually just being outraged. Or they don't even watch it at all, just, bandwagon, whatever actually is just, what's actually causing the most controversy. I mean, look at Yakuza Western Killer, for instance, when he actually backstabbed me over freaking Redo a Healer.
Didn't that turn out that the creator, a woman, was basing it off of her own experience?
Exactly, but, people don't, do their research.
Oh my god, it's Rising of the Shield Hero again. Because when it first came out, everyone was like, oh, the creator is a male sexist pig. Guess what? She has the mighty V!
Yes. And basically, it's actually, problematic for these people to actually just, understand that not all men actually are responsible for like making anime and manga. There are actually female mangakas as well. Like you got the.
Nah, I think these idiots assume that the women only do things like Sailor Moon and Fruits Basket. The stuff that's heavy in romance and stuff.
Oh.
Or slice of life, and it's like, nah, women can be just as violent and graphic as the men. I mean, people complained about Bayonetta. Guess who her creator is? A woman.
Exactly, but you see, they don't take the time to actually do any research or anything like that. They just actually just find whatever is actually most relevant to actually just being quote unquote outraged about.
Yeah, but it drives me nuts that they always assume that the creator of a sexy female character must be a man, and I'm like, 9 times out of 10, it's usually a woman.
Exactly.
I mean, hell, Pink Diamond's persona, while being thick, was still fairly attractive in Steven Universe. Are you gonna say Rebecca Sugar's really a man for that? No, because it's Rebecca Sugar, not Robert Sugar.
Exactly, but they don't actually understand the people the women that actually make anime and manga. Basically, you got like a Fullmetal Alchemist, Inuyasha, Beastars. They're all created by women.
Oh yeah, someone was actually complaining about Hapasai. I'm like, I bet you think the creator of Rama, who also created Inuyasha, is a man, don't you?
Nope, Rumiko Takahashi is a woman.
Oh no, I know that. My friend Emma, who is a fan of her works, knows that. I'm saying the person complaining about Hapasai probably assumes that because it's happened time and time again. I mean, going back to Rising of the Shield Hero, when news about it first came out, and that the villain Multi was being portrayed as a liar, which women do lie. I'm sorry to the simps and stuff in the world who want to basically act like women can do no wrong. Women are just as bad as men, if not worse.
Exactly, but people just rely on outrage and try to cancel whatever might actually be successful, because basically success actually is what they're afraid of. Something can actually grow big and be a successful franchise. Like look at Terminator Will Fate, for instance. I mean, look at how they actually butchered that freaking movie series.
I don't go past the third movie, and the only reason I even include
Yo!
Butchered
hey mate,
that movie series.
and the only reason I even
go past the third movie.
and the only reason I include the third movie is because that is a good point. If John Connor is supposed to, defeat the Terminators and his father is from the future, then by John stopping it in the second movie by destroying everything that would lead up to him, John no longer exists because his father would have no reason to go back in time. And
Exactly, it's a paradox.
thus it has to happen. So that's the only reason I include the third movie, because Arnold's character, the Terminator, says, "You didn't stop it, you just delayed it." And that is a good point because, again, John Connor is the one who's going to save the world, but his dad's from the future. Now, if he was just some random kid and that's why they had to protect his mother and then him in the second movie, okay, that's fine. But it's shown his father is from the future.
Damn right. By the way, hello.
That's the only thing about the Terminator movies. Oh, we need to. The first movie, yeah, protect Sarah Connor because we can't have her dying. Second movie, oh, let's just destroy this so this won't happen. Problem is, how do you still exist, John? How do you still exist?
Exactly. Sense. it's actually kind of it's like I've been saying, it's actually a paradox, within a certain lore.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly, man.
I suppose we could go the Dragon Ball Z route and it just branches off into a different timeline, but they never specified that it branches off. It's just that it's supposed to be the same thing no matter what, but then it's like, well, if that's the case, John's father would not be coming back to the past, meaning John is not conceived.
Exactly, but here, that's just the thing. Basically, it freaking the lore to certain things can only happen, within the writer's imagination. But in able to do that, you need to actually be a little more specific about certain topics and certain events.
Look, I'll give James Cameron this. It's a great movie. It is, but I really wish he had just made John's father some guy from the current time period.
Yeah, exactly, because, good lord, time paradoxes are a bitch.
Exactly.
Because you could still do for the third movie, you just delayed it kind of thing. But at least if John's father is just some drifter or something, John will exist no matter what, whether the events of the movies happen or not, because his father is from the current time period. By having his father from the future, which that kind of makes it kind of creepy when you think about the fact that his father was probably a very small child, if not a thought yet, when Sarah Connor was a grown woman who could conceive John.
Yeah, that is true, but like I said, basically it's actually within the lore of the creator. So, I mean,
Well,
if we actually had a little more, good.
I mean, my thing is, as long as everyone is legal consenting adults, go sleep with grandpa if you want it. But it's when you think about like John's father that you're like, oh God, if he is even a thought yet, Sarah is basically old enough to be his mother.
Yeah, exactly. But
I mean, if you watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles, the TV show, they actually show a couple little boys, and it's implied to be John's father and John's uncle. And it's like, did you really need to add that?
I don't really see any need for that. But that's just part of the series. But anyway,
Yeah, but it's like, please don't remind me that technically John's father is from the future. Meaning, this gets creepy in a whole different sense.
I can totally understand that too.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh yeah, I did session 0 of my campaign last night.
Oh yeah.
It was apparently a success.
Kind of like the D&D campaign I'm in.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that it kind of sucks that people are actually trying to ruin D&D nowadays. Say that
Of course they're fucking ruining D&D. They're fucking grifters, man.
Oh, are we talking about the orcs things from a few months ago?
Yeah.
That was stupid. And a couple black people I saw commenting on it are like, so wait, you look at an orc and you instantly think black people?
Yeah, that just says more about them than anything else. They're the racists, not us.
Yeah, I've never looked at an orc and been like, oh yeah, that's definitely a black person. No, I've looked at
Yeah.
an orc and I'm like, that's kind of a cool looking creature.
Yeah, when I think of orcs, I think of Lord of the Rings, man.
Ooh, don't use the movies as examples. There are idiots who say that's blackface.
What?
Yeah,
I mean,
because the orcs
I mean,
are
I love
solid
the I
black.
love the Peter Jackson films, but I also recognize the Meredith Ralph Bakshi's version.
Yeah, the Peter Jackson ones, because they're solid black, people instantly assume it's blackface. And I'm like, they're orcs. They
Good
have fangs
grief, are
sticking
people
out of their
really this
mouths.
fucking retarded?
They have fangs sticking out of their mouths and pointed ears like elves. What real person without getting surgery looks like that?
Again, people are getting dumber by the moment. Jesus fucking goddamn Christ.
Every time I see something like that, I get closer to saying the internet was a mistake.
Of
Now, I
course, the
actually have,
internet was a mistake. I mean, it was a novel concept, but goddamn, how many morons use it nowadays? Especially my anime hater and arch nemesis Lance fucking Rothman.
Okay, I want to see a comic of you as a superhero and this guy as your enemy now.
oh, definitely, that would be freaking cool to see.
I'm not really that good an artist, guys. Sorry.
If I could find
It's
someone to
just
draw
me
that,
having a long drama with some obnoxious anime hater who just won't shut the fuck up about how anime is trash and how Japan should be nuked off the face of the earth and how everything the Japanese makes is automatic garbage and blah 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 blah. I want to reach into the computer screen, grab his throat, dig my fingers into his throat, and choke the ever loving life out of him.
changing the subject before I compare this guy to Hitler. Have y'all seen the thing for the new animated Aquaman?
Yeah, I've actually seen like some snippets of it, but basically not my cup of tea because basically I think they're actually trying to lean too much into the Cal arts here.
Blech.
Look, when it's Cal Arts done like Steven Universe or Gravity Falls, it's fine, it's beautiful. But now it's
Uh,
just getting ugly.
I hate Steven Universe. I'm sorry. I fucking hate Steven Universe.
As long as you don't tell me I'm stupid for liking Steven Universe.
Oh, no. You're not. You're not. It's just, I mean, you're the exception to the rule.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Steven Universe movie kind of made me despise Steven's mother, Pink Diamond, because at first I'm like, okay, they weren't listening to her when she said, I really don't want to kill all life on Earth because it's kind of beautiful. But then the movie comes out and you find out someone she considered her best friend was left for thousands of years in a space garden. And it's like, God damn it, is there anyone you haven't betrayed, Pink Diamond?
Yeah,
I mean, every time a gem who had beef with Pink Diamond, or to be precise, her alter ego Rose Quartz, poor Steven is trying to fix it because he feels like it's his responsibility, and it's like, no, this is a case of sins of the father, or in this case, mother. You should not have to fix your mother's fuck ups.
basically we need to learn from our history instead of actually, freaking reliving it.
Bingo.
I am working on a show Bible because I'm hoping if I can, do the story good enough and show rough drafts of what characters would look like, I could get actual artists to draw it for me. But every time I see something like Thundercats Roar or the new Aquaman animated series, I'm like, Jesus, I might as well just send in my craptastic drawings and say, This is what happens in this show. Give me money.
In fact, basically, here's the thing. This is just my personal thoughts here. We're actually hiring off of diversity, sexual orientation, friggin' color, and don't even get me started on that. But basically, we should be hiring off of meritocracy.
Thank you, Mr. Anime. Thank you, dear God. Someone be dropping a major Kong of a truth bomb here.
Well, all I know is if it's about diversity, well then the only way I could get a better chance at getting a show pilot is if I was of a different skin tone. I'm fat, I'm bisexual, I'm basically hitting every check mark except being a person of color.
Yeah, I can understand that you're actually working there, Alex. I mean, basically, I do appreciate you actually popping onto the stream once in a while, but basically, we're always here, and we'll be here for about the next 2 hours or so. But I just actually prefer having people to actually have their own voices being heard, and that's why I actually have Matt Wheaton and D&D Girl on, because
I actually did some commentary last time because people got.
That's pretty much the closest to actually providing actual YouTube content.
Yeah, and basically about that truth bomb about meritocracy. Look, I'm just trying to keep this $1.50 here. People are just, not even, caring about people who actually can be able to do the work of certain things. I mean, look at how freaking woke Hollywood has been, trying to actually, get in all these woke Hollywood elitists.
Oh, have you seen the rumor about Amber Heard? God, I hope that's true because I hate that woman.
I hate it too. Amber Turd. She's actually a disgusting human being.
And there is proof she's abusive. Heck, her ex
and people believe her over Johnny Depp because Johnny Depp has a dick and she's got a vajayjay.
Oh, and let's not forget when she claimed a cop that was called in was a straight white man, but it turned out to be a lesbian woman.
Yo, Jose, what's up, man? Besides, if you actually want to join into our stream, I left the link for the stream in the chat there. So if you actually wanted to actually jump on, just click on that and come join us. I mean, the water's fine. But idiots running Boston schools intentionally failing students because of diversity, and this is from Alex Kogan here.
And this is why I have zero faith in the public school system because fuck my life.
Well, the school system's been crap since I was a kid, at least.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
oh yeah, another check mark to add to the list of possibly getting a pilot for a show. I was diagnosed in my late 20s as being high-functioning autistic. Doesn't matter if I have talent.
Dude, I've been high-functioning autistic since the day I was born.
Yeah,
I should be.
That's the point, but because I was, close enough to being normal, apparently, no one thought, maybe the reason she has trouble learning math and stuff is because she might need a little extra help. Instead of, trying to figure out what's wrong with me, my teachers just called me lazy.
Yeah, I mean, actually, just as
you have no idea the hell math was for me in high school. Jesus fucking Christ.
I hated math, especially word problems, because word problems confuse me. Because, example, train A leaves station B and train B leaves station A. How long until they collide? And instead of trying to figure out how long, because of the speed and stuff, they would collide, I'm like, why are we letting two trains collide? Are we trying to kill
people? It's just freaking completely crap. And basically, like I said, I actually have autism just as much as you guys do. But, I can't really be able.
Yeah, but
I'm actually
God
working on
damn, that math question was fucking stupid.
exactly. So basically, here's the thing: people don't understand that we should actually be hiring people off of the merit, that they do, not like for their issues, their skin color, their sexuality, or
I'm
anything of
saying
that.
talent.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it should be a meritocracy, man. Oh wait, I heard that meritocracy is funding fascism. God damn, I hate this timeline.
Now, I
And
know you guys aren't really fans of Big Mouth, but I am not letting this go. The Missy thing.
definitely,
If Missy's parents were both black, I'd be yeah, maybe you should get Cree Summer or something to voice Missy. But she's biracial, so in this case, it should be whoever's the most talented voicing her.
exactly.
Thankfully, the new girl they got is pretty good with it, with the voice, but it's like Missy is biracial, so it shouldn't matter what color her voice actress is.
Exactly. But people don't understand that, and this just actually infuriates me. Why the hell do we actually have all these diversity hires? I mean, look at DJ Kirkland, for instance, when he actually made that freaking hot take of a tweet back in 2016, and then Viz Media actually hired him because of his stance against anime fans, saying that that there's LGBT plus suffering in Japan going on, and basically there's no such thing. And he gets hired, and look at what's going on. They're freaking censoring the mangas now. Jesus
Like I
Christ.
said, we're living in clown world.
Yeah, the freaking world is actually just nothing more than a freaking three-ring scene. Sorry,
Actually, scratch that. Clown world's too vague of a description. The whole world's a fucking circus.
I know.
Everything's racist.
Oh God. Oh.
That's what they sound like to me. I'm sorry.
I know it's actually just freaking ridiculous as fuck, there, you guys. And I do apologize for actually using some colorful language on here, but this is our chance to vent.
Yep.
This is like our little get together, our little powwow of actually venting our frustrations.
And these bastards just want to be angry. I can tell you this because the Japanese artist who did the Native American picture that got backlash and even apologized for it, despite he does the research. And I asked a couple of people who were like, I'm like, well, several people of indigenous people say, hey, I like this. We don't really get this kind of art. Most other things tend to be stereotypical, like what you would see in a Western. And then they say, well, they're just kissing the white man's feet. And I'm like, you just want to be mad for the sake of being mad now. Because anyone who
See
is
also
of the
Professor Otaku.
Because anyone of the group that these people are claiming to protect who say that, hey, I like this, I don't got a problem with this, are instantly like Uncle Tom or something.
Yeah, Alice Kogan actually brings up a good point as well. They're board control freaks. I totally agree, man. And it's like what you said there, D&D girl. Basically, the Japanese are actually what you call Schrodinger's white.
Yeah, they're not people of color until these dumbasses need something to complain about, like Cobra Kai, and say, "Oh, where's the Japanese representation?" And I'm just in here like, But I thought you said because they're pale skin, they aren't people of color. You can't have it both ways, you fuckers.
Exactly. And Jose actually brings up a really good point. Diversity is a lie. And I totally had to agree with him on that.
At
And
this point, diversity is a joke without a punchline.
Oh, let's not also forget this girl who I'm really thinking is not Hispanic because she used Latin X. And every Hispanic person I know personally are like, I swear to God, if you call me Latin X, I'm going to slap you.
Yeah, Alex Krogan brought up a good point. The Uncle Tom insult never made sense to me because he was the hero and broke his bonds. They want us in bonds.
They just don't like that a former slave, might not be like, hey, I'm free now, Whitey, go fuck yourself.
sorry about that, guys. I just actually had to text someone.
That's
So,
why they
anyway,
don't like Uncle Tom. It's the fact that Uncle Tom is nice to white children and is not like, fuck you. I mean, I'm not forced to work for you anymore, so you can't tell me what to do. He's, a nice guy.
Yeah, shouldn't Uncle Tom be a term of endearment at this point?
yes. But,
No, but
and
no,
also,
these people make it as an insult because they're the real slave owners.
exactly.
No, well, I'm still mad at Warner Brothers for what they did to Johnny Depp. At least when it comes to their old cartoons that are now offensive nowadays, they're not like, let's pretend we never made these Looney Tune cartoons ever. And instead have a thing just before it, if you buy like the DVD tin, saying, look, look, these are cartoons that nowadays would be offensive and stuff, but at the time were seen as okay. You have been warned. Disney, however, are trying to cut everything that is insensitive nowadays out and pretend they never had this happen. If you
Exactly.
if you were lucky to find the original cut of the centaur scene from Fantasia, there is a centaur called Sunflower that is basically what you would call a centaur of color. But because she has all the weird ponytail things that is usually associated with women of color and stuff, she's seen as offensive and they removed her. I'm like, by doing that, you come off as even more racist because you want to make it seem like that you never had this problem and that you don't need to fix this problem. Whereas Warner Brothers is like, look, yeah, we know this is offensive nowadays, but if we don't learn from our history, we're doomed to repeat it.
Exactly.
I
Also,
respect Warner Brothers at this point. Also, the guys running Disney, they don't give a fuck about Walt Disney's legacy. They're just pissing all over his grave.
Yeah, I always imagine if Walt was frozen and not cremated, as it's been revealed, I imagine him somehow breaking out of his ice thing and coming back and saying, "Get the fuck out, I have to take over because y'all don't know how to run my fucking company."
God. And hang on a second.
I imagine Walt Disney way better than Family Guy.
Exactly. And also, Jose actually brings up two good points. First is Latinx is bullshit, is Latino. I totally agree, man. And also, he also says Johnny Depp deserves justice. And also, Joshua
Shit.
Perez says the left only cares about black people when they agree with them. Basically,
That's true because, like I said, anyone who is a part of that group, because depending on who you're defending, it's the group I'm calling it because it depends on who you're defending. If it's black people, than if you're black and you're like, hey, you're acting kind of stupid, like, say, defending people destroying small mom and pop stores during the riot. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it'd be kind of awful if you destroyed any store, because stores like Forever 21 are franchise things. So the people who are going to be out the money are the people who own that particular franchise. But it's Forever 21. They're not going to lose a lot of money if that's destroyed. Meanwhile, I saw an old black man crying about his business getting destroyed by rioters and asking, "Why'd you do this to me? I'm from the ghetto too." And I'm like, that is a good point. What the fuck did he do that you decided his business needed to be destroyed?
Also,
Yeah, I also like what Alex said. Disney was anti-communist, so they called him an anti-Semite to besmirch him. Woke commies hijacked his company, and Bob Iger has no spine at all.
I kind of want to go up to Bob Iger and slap him and say, "You need to do this," and see if he would do it, since I have the mighty V.
I personally want to kick Bob Iger in the balls, dude.
I mean, if he has no spine to say no, then clearly, if I slap him and tell him, "Hey, go back to what made Disney good and don't listen to the woke idiots," maybe we could get Disney fixed.
exactly. But nowadays, we're actually freaking living in a world where social media is actually becoming more and more like communist China.
Sheesh.
Oh yeah.
You ain't wrong on that. I mean, good God.
Oh yeah. Do either of y'all follow Heroic?
I don't think I have, because
Well, he's one of he's a black guy I follow.
Fuck you, Annie, because big boob situation.
And every time he basically says something contrary to these idiots, they always assume he's white. Just like if I say anything against what people want for women, like women get more pay, but men basically get fucked out of it, even if they show the talent to deserve my money, I'm instantly called a guy with a peener. And I'm like, yes, that is your thing. You always assume. This is what happened with Rising of the Shield Hero. You didn't like that a woman was being shown as a liar, so you assumed the creator, a woman, was a man.
It's like Al Bundy once said, the only people who understand women are other women, and they hate each other.
Exactly.
Al Bundy was a man before his time.
No kidding.
And I'm sure if any SJW and feminazis watch your streams, they'll be like, "Oh, how can you like Al Bundy?" And I'm like, because Al Bundy is fucking funny. And
he told the truth.
And I'm sorry, but I mean, there are a couple exceptions like Wanda Sykes I like, but 9 times out of 10, I prefer male comedians because they don't usually only do a one-trick thing. I'm looking at Amy Schumer with her "my vagina," and it's like, yes,
oh God,
woman with a vagina, but you need more than that, Amy.
My God, my thoughts of Amy Schumer doing scat porn is just invading my mind. Ow.
Please tell me that is not true.
Hang on.
No. Thankfully, it is.
Okay. Well, Joshua Perez says these crazy people on Twitter will use #FuckYouAnnie because of big boob situation, and basically it's going to happen. And well, basically, here's the thing:
grifters would.
But here's the thing: if that actually truly happened, then the anime community will actually freaking backlash whoever actually made that. Because basically, that's the thing that these people will do. They'll either actually chain block people, or they'll mute the conversation and act like little bitches because they can't handle criticism. They can't handle freaking outrage from actual fans and stuff like that. But they'll just actually keep pushing this narrative that anime is evil. What Japan is doing is evil, and basically how it's actually.
Yeah, did you see?
Like I said, they're fucking grifters. They don't give a fuck about anime. They're just infiltrating the hobby just to inject their shitty worldview.
Did you see my tweet about the con that invited Monica?
Oh God.
They blocked me, but I'm like, oh no, I've been blocked by a shitty con that's probably not going to get enough people to get the money that they're putting into it back. Whatever shall I do? I was just pointing out the fact that I don't play roles for thee. If Vic shouldn't be going out during a pandemic to conventions, neither should these assholes.
Exactly, but
and
that's
unless the con's gonna do a chain block so that anyone who follows me gets blocked too, it's not gonna help them because all my followers who agree with me are gonna retweet, like, and their followers are gonna retweet and like, and so on and so on, until hopefully the con has to say, hey, we're getting a lot of demands for refunds, so we're not going to be able to have the con. And hopefully realize maybe we shouldn't invite a woman that people have venom for.
Alex
SJWs are grasshopper people. They don't create or preserve, only destroy. They're the Black Crusade. I call them the death cult more than anything.
Well, now I want to see the Plague song from Prince of Egypt with an animatic of all these SJWs and stuff, and the anime fans are basically like the Egyptians trying to keep them out. Yeah, the Egyptians are pretty much the bad guys in Prince of Egypt, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
I get you, D&D girl.
Also, Alex Kogan actually says they are indeed a death cult because basically, as soon as you actually bend the knee to these people, they're basically gonna freaking take more from you. Basically, it's like the saying: if you actually give an SJW an inch, they're gonna take a mile.
Basically, many artists I follow on Twitter whose art I like, I only followed because SJWs bitched about them. I'm like, well, I don't like you, so I'm gonna follow them to spite you.
That's
all
the best
they're doing is giving people press to get more followers and possibly more money for commissions.
Exactly. I mean, look at Sakimi-chan, for instance. I mean, I really like, Sakimi-chan's work, and she actually does a heck of a lot of, like, artistic work, and her art style is just absolutely perfect. I mean,
and
she actually...
And
go ahead.
There's the soul thing. Now, in America, I get it. Most of the cast are people of color, so you should get people of color. But when you're sending it to countries like Japan, where there's hardly anyone that's of a different skin tone of the people, you kind of can't be like, well, we can't take your movie then because we don't have people of color to play these characters. That's how you lose money.
Exactly, because, that's the thing. They don't actually hire on meritocracy. Meritocracy is dead. Basically, we need to actually freaking have it be like a phoenix and rise from the ashes and actually take over again.
At this point, Japan's the last meritocracy left on Earth.
Exactly. And it's just fucking baffling, man. Absolutely mind baffling.
Now, don't get me wrong. I definitely want to see more representation for the LGBTQ community. However, I want original characters like Ruby and Sapphire from Steven Universe. Not let's take Iceman and reskin him as gay.
Exactly.
You know why I like Miles Morales? Because, yes, he's Spider-Man, but he's a different Spider-Man. He's not, well, Peter Parker's black now. He is his own character. He's not Peter Parker reskinned as black.
Exactly.
I mean, that's why I like Into the Spider-Verse. It's just so cool to actually see like different versions of like
we actually have I mean, we also have Spider-Gwen, so not the only female Spider-Man, but we actually got.
And don't forget Spider-Man 2099, which I love the concept of Spider-Man in a cyberpunk setting.
But we have Penny Parker.
Yeah, exactly. I really like Penny.
A Japanese female Spider-Man. And not even the traditional kind of Spider-Man, because she uses a robot.
And also, Alex Cogan actually brings up another point. We're Black Superman. We don't need one on film. Icon already exists.
Idris Elba?
I don't know why they don't just use Superman's adopted brother, because they actually did make a black Kryptonian who was adopted by Superman's Kryptonian family before Krypton exploded. If we really need the whole black Superman thing, why not use the existing character who is Clark Kent's adoptive brother?
Okay, let's see.
Anime Man, Aki Dearest, Lost Paws, Mother's Basement, Animat, 505, and other big Anitubers are all grifters paid by Funimation and Crunchyroll. I couldn't agree more. That's why I'm more into the smaller Anitubers like Kenny Lauderdale or Meisan Otaku or Kaiser Beams.
I actually called Animad a child exposer because he did a review buck naked.
I mean,
what?
He kept his legs crossed and stuff so you didn't see the bits, but he was buck naked.
Jesus fucking Christ, people!
He didn't even wear a bodysuit that was the same color as his skin. No, he was buck naked. At least with the bodysuit, you'd see like a shadow for an outline or something and be like, yeah, it's still kind of disturbing, but at least he's not exactly naked. No, he was buck naked.
Basically, that's just wrong. Besides, and
also,
get started on
his the Anituber community doesn't call him out on this. Why?
Oh, because he is on Team Vic did everything despite lack of proof. I mean, look at DC Douglas films a lady's washroom in an airport, and I'm gonna say this. My first thought, if I accidentally walk into the men's room, provided I've gotten salt or pepper in my eye to explain why I didn't notice the sign, is not to be, let me whip my phone out and say, I'm accidentally in the men's room. Look at those urinals. And then run out and say, that's not the women's room. No, my thought's going to be like, oh crap, can I get out before anyone notices I accidentally went into the men's room?
Oh, God. I swear.
Jesus.
And I mean it. I guarantee if DC Douglas were Team Vic is innocent, everyone would be beating a dead horse by this point, because they would always go back to the whole filming a women's washroom thing.
Also, another thing that really freaking chaps my ass about this, and basically this is for Brother's Basement, Anime Man, and stuff like that.
Don't forget Professor Otaku. God, I hate that guy.
I guess my dad was listening to me talk to you guys because he just came to my room and said 12th dead horse.
Oh God. Basically, here's the thing I really dislike about freaking Mother's Basement is how he constantly freaking beats the dead horse with Sword Art Online. Basically, it's like it's just too freaking bullshit for pushing a narrative against anime. And he also actually blamed Goblin Slayer for saying that there are rape scenes in there, but he doesn't actually understand that. And also another thing
I'd love to see him watch something like MD Geist or Genocyber or Violence Jack or Angel Cop or any of the ultra-violent
What's
Lynch
his thing about Sword
they
Art
used to
Online?
make.
Because don't get me wrong, I'm not really a fan of Sword Art Online, because I kind of found it boring and stuff. Normally, I would like this kind of concept, but it kind of came off as, oh right, there was Dot Hack, which I used to watch. The only difference is you could still leave. It was just the unlucky people in Dot Hack that couldn't wake up afterwards.
I will say this though. Dot Hack Curb Stomps Sword Art Online. Mic drop.
well, I actually haven't.
I mean, this
Go
isn't really a thing of, well, everyone has used this narrative for a story, like the Chosen One. Like, you look at Luke from Star Wars, and then you look at Harry from Harry Potter, and they're the chosen ones with the elderly sage masters helping them, Dumbledore and Obi-Wan, who have to fight the bad guys, Palpatine, Voldemort. No, the only difference between Dot Hack and Sword Art Online, in my opinion, is only a couple people were unlucky to end up going comatose in real life. Everyone else could still go home. That's the only difference I see.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing: people don't understand the concepts of certain anime because they don't take the time to just sit down and start from the beginning of an episode and then work their way forward. I mean, I can understand that people don't actually have to redo a healer. I mean, I actually really do like it, but there are actually instances of really graphic violence, some the R word that actually rhymes with rape.
That interested in redo of healer. I mean, you could chalk that up to me being mostly into mecha, cyberpunk, ultra violence, and dark fantasy.
Well, that's an example. I don't get the appeal of people liking Evangelion or Gundam. But I don't say you're stupid for liking that. I just go, that's what they like. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to move on to something I do like.
Exactly.
And that's fine. I mean, you don't have to see the appeal of people enjoying stuff like Evangelion or Gundam. You just have to accept it.
Exactly.
I mean, if I suggest a show like Steven Universe or Friendship is Magic, My Little Pony, I'll say, look, just watch the first couple episodes. If you don't like it afterwards, we never talk about it again. I don't tell them you have to watch every episode until you see why it's good.
Yeah.
Because I am a person who believes that if a show can't hook me on the first 2 or 3 episodes, then it's probably not going to be good for me.
And everybody actually has, a different taste. And I really have to say that, MLP is not really my cup of tea, and I'm not really considered, a brony. That's just the
I
thing
would
that
never. I would never consider myself a brony at all. I got Transformers, thank you, and G.I. Joe.
Well, like I'm saying is, if someone says, "Hey, are there any good cartoons you could suggest to me?" I might suggest Steven Universe or My Little Pony. Same with anime, but I'm not gonna tell them, "No, you have to watch every episode until you agree with me that it's a good show." I'm gonna say, "Look, watch the first few episodes. If you aren't hooked by then, we don't talk about it anymore because obviously it's not something that interests you." I can't stand the people who are like, "No, you're wrong. It is a good show. You just don't want to like it." And it's like, not everyone is going to be into basically an homage to magical girls and sci-fi anime, because that's pretty much what Steven Universe is.
Exactly, but here's the thing: people actually have different tastes, and there's actually something that anime should be appreciated with. Is there's something for everybody? There's different tastes for different people. And
Tell
how
that to my anime hater who keeps saying all anime is trash and the same. God damn it. Fucking Lance Rothman. I want to
Okay,
fucking punch
here's
him right
what
in the
you do.
goddamn face.
Here's what you do. You give them a comedy anime or a slice of life anime like Lucky Stars or whatever slice of life anime you can think of, because I don't really watch slice of life. The
Hey,
closest
if we're talking good comedy anime, Cromartie High School, baby.
well, what I'm saying is
I
find a
haven't actually
comedy
seen that
anime,
show.
find a slice of life anime, and then find the most testosterone filled fighting anime like Dragon Ball Z or something, and then tell them, watch the first season of both of these and tell me how they're alike. And if he tries to fight you on this, you say, it seems you don't want to prove your point. Meaning, maybe no one should believe you when you say all anime is trash.
That's what I've been saying to this asshole since the very beginning. But he ain't having any of this and continues to double down on his bullshit mongering.
Okay, here's what you do: you take a show like The Simpsons for the comedy thing, and then you find another animated show that'd be like dark and edgy, like maybe the Spawn animated series that was shown on
Oh, I
HBO.
love the Spawn animated series, man.
And then say, all Western anime is trash. And then if he tries to fight you on it, you say, oh, kind of like how you say all anime is trash and the same. And basically watch and see him try to say, no, that's different. And other people basically saying, no, he has a point. How is all anime trash and the same, but it's not the same for animated shows from the West?
Yeah, anime haters are hypocritical jagoffs, man.
They're hypocritical pieces of shit. Let's put it like that. And I actually have to agree with Alice Kogan here. I mean, the Spawn cartoon needs a sequel badly, and basically,
I'd be more interested in Spawn Armageddon arc. I mean, that was a good cap off to the Spawn storyline.
I remember seeing a comic for Spawn meets Batman.
Dude, that concept gets me hard every time.
Also, I managed to find this once upon a time. There's actually like a Japanese manga of Spawn. It's called Shadows of Spawn, and I actually found it for a good price though, and I don't know if it's actually still there.
A Japanese Spawn manga?
Yes.
Like the manga Spawn toy line?
Not exactly, just a Spawn manga, like an actual Japanese, like a Japanese manga, with a Japanese Spawn.
I now want to see a manga for Hellraiser. And technically it would be canon because there have been various people who have been, the guy.
Pinhead?
Dude, I'd be stoked for a manga of BattleTech, dude.
Hey,
Well,
if we can actually
No,
get like
no. I mean, technically Pinhead too. I meant, hold on. It's been a while since I've watched and or read, but Nicolas Cage played him.
oh, you mean Ghost Rider? Or
Yes. God damn it! It's been so long. It's been so fucking long. I'm forgetting the name.
yeah, he actually played Johnny Blaze. But yeah, I would definitely love to actually put my money down on seeing like Ghost Rider actually becoming like a Japanese manga or an anime series. Like
Oh,
picture
oh,
yes.
oh, and you could have Johnny Blaze because he's the main one you usually see. But how funny would it be if it was a Japanese schoolgirl who was made the Ghost Rider?
that would definitely be
I'm
interesting.
more,
But basically,
dude.
here's the thing.
I'd be more down for a Japanese delinquent being Ghost Rider.
Technically, there are Japanese delinquent girls.
Yeah, but
I'm just
Basically,
Yeah.
saying. I think it would be an interesting concept because all the other people who have been the Ghost Rider, they've always had this whole I had a delinquent past and stuff. I think Johnny is like the only one where the only reason he became the Ghost Rider is because he was trying to save his dad, but as you see, that didn't really work out, so he got screwed.
yeah, and basically, here's the thing. This is just my personal. This is like a personal thing for me, though. Is if there's going to be like a delinquent girl actually making a deal with Mephisto, what would she actually get in return for those powers? Like what kind of like what she would look like as like a female version of the Ghost Rider?
Well,
These are just like personal
the one
questions.
I it, last I saw, it was only one female who's been the Ghost Rider in Marvel, but they pretty much look like the other Ghost Riders, except if you were able to see them before they went, ghost form or whatever you want to call it, you pretty much know what their genitalia are.
Yeah, basically, I was thinking, for like the female Ghost Rider, make her actually have like a nice chest with it,
Of
make it
course,
stand out a little bit.
if we look at the previous guy, we can use the movie with Nicolas Cage for an example. He looks like a cowboy because he was from the time period when cowboys would be a thing. So her outfit could be like a punked out version of a school uniform.
Oh hell yeah! Sort of like
Dude,
Sancats
I
from
would
Kill.
totally blow my wad over that, dude.
Oh, definitely. Also, Alex actually brings up another good point. Ghost Rider works as multiple characters since it's as much as titled than just one person.
This is true. That's why it could work easily. And hell, if Marvel has a say and they want to do the whole LGBTQ thing, she could be a lesbian or bisexual because she's technically a new character, not a reskinning of an old character. I will not let that go because it pisses me off. I finally get an example for the community, and it's just, oh, well, we're going to rip Iceman's skin of being straight off and put he's gay on him now. I'm like, that does not give me what I want. I want an actual character, a new character. This is why it kind of pissed me off when they were talking about a Blade series. They decided Blade was going to be Muslim, and I'm like, but you have an X-Men who is a woman of color who is Muslim. Why don't you make a thing about her if you need to represent the Muslims?
They just want to freaking. They just want to undo like the success of Stan Lee. That's just how I feel.
Because they think Stan Lee is apparently racist and homophobic and misogyny.
Basically,
Stan Lee was willing to adopt adopted Jewish baby, but because his wife wasn't the right faith, he wasn't allowed to. Because back then, you couldn't adopt a child that wasn't whose parents weren't of your faith, and it's like, well, why the hell not? Not you can easily teach them their like Jewish roots and stuff as well as your Christian roots.
Exactly. That's kind of how diversity should work.
I totally agree with Matt on this. Because basically it should be based on, how you're gonna actually raise the kid, teach them their roots, teach them, your ways, and show, that you're actually willing to actually become a loving and caring parent to the kid and show them right from wrong, and also give them a home that they can actually be proud of.
Also, gotta agree with Alex Kogan here. Flaming skeleton people in leather and motorbikes and muscle cars. That shit's fucking metal as fuck.
And here's the thing, back to the Japanese schoolgirl thing. Obviously, the whole thing with whoever's the ghostwriter is, they make a deal because of something. Maybe she has a sick sister that she doesn't want to die, use Johnny Blaze's thing, and that's why she makes the deal. But punked out version of a schoolgirl uniform. She could have pigtails when she's normal, and then you have these two fireballs on top of her head.
Also, like Alex Kogan said, classic commie tactic, accuse others what you're obviously guilty of, a Kafka trap. Also a classic Nazi tactic, but they're both the same shit, so hey.
Basically, you have her have the big chunky pigtails. They don't have to be Odango buns like what Sailor Moon has. Just something that when she transforms, her head is on fire, but she's got these big fireballs on top of her head.
Whoa. I mean, basically,
dude, that would be so metal.
To read.
And her ride is a Vespa scooter.
A Vespa? Why not a Harley?
Because I also like FLCL or Fuli Kuli.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Still, I prefer a Harley, but if you're basing it off Fuli Kuli.
Imagine the front of the Vespa when it transforms with her. Gets like this snarling face or something. It breathes fire. Kind of like the horse.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm still sticking with the Harley Davidson. Sorry.
Basically, we all actually have different tastes. I mean, I haven't actually watched freaking Fooly Cooly since, I've actually watched it back on Toonami, and I've actually seen all three parts of it. Like, the first one, I used to own the series of that. Sadly, it's only 6 episodes. I mean, I would love to actually...
I watched the sequel to the first one, and I found it funny and okay. The second one just got weird for me. I mean, it ends with the girl's friend going into outer space, and it's like, I mean, I know it's a comedy and all, but I'm kind of sad now.
Yeah, and it's just super sad. But oh man, the panty shots in the first episode of the third of I think it was Alternative. Oh man, that was actually just freaking epic.
I mean, I'll admit I like the third one where we have, kind of a heavy set girl because well, I do admit in Japan you're not going to really have a lot of heavy set people besides the sumo wrestlers because of the obvious fact their food is not crap. It's not going to kill them at 30,
Yeah, that's why Japanese age far better than most people. I mean, look at Yumiko Shaku, for God's sakes.
Yeah. There were people when the whole Uzaki thing was happening. were showing women who were cops in like their 30s from Japan saying, yeah, she looks 13, but she's actually in her 30s. And people are like, no, that's just a girl cosplaying so you can try and defend dirty acts. And it's like, you're just mad that you're not going to look that good at 30.
Bingo! Basically
Oh, I don't.
pushing their freaking pushing their Western views onto a country like Japan. Basically,
And
that's
probably
textbook
making them eat crappy food. Like us.
Hell, I don't know what I'm doing, but I still have people who are surprised when I tell them I'm in my 30s because they're like, I thought you were like 19 or 20. And I'm like, really? Is this because I'm short? Because how the hell do you think I'm that young? It's got to be because I'm short. I'm 5'2".
Dude, I'm going on 38, yet I still have the look and mentality of a something of an early 20-something.
Yeah, and basically, I get confused for actually looking like I'm in my 40s when I'm actually 32.
It's the beard. The beard, dude.
Hey, I've actually been growing this thing out, okay, man? It's actually part of the Mr. Anime look.
Of course, I'm thinking genetics because I've shown people pictures of my dad, and he's in his 70s, and everyone's like, I thought he was 50. And I'm like, okay. I don't know what my dad's doing because he drank a lot in his younger days as well as smoked tobacco, but clearly he's doing something that makes him look good for his age.
Yeah, so true. Oh god, yeah, we can actually stem it to genetics of like our parents.
I actually, before BuzzFeed got absorbed by the SJWs, I used to watch their videos, and I
I always
remember.
thought BuzzFeed was always SJW.
Well, anyway, they did a video about the curses of being baby faced. I think I have a baby face too, so that might explain why people think I'm younger than I am. But they show this girl and guy who pretty much look like they could be teenagers, and they're showing the various drawbacks of it. You know, like being carded at a bar or something. And then they show a teenage boy go up to the girl and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And she runs off scared, and it's logical because it's like, holy crap, this girl is in her 20s. She could get arrested by that comment.
Oh god. But yeah, Alex actually brings up another good point. Genetics plus good physical and mental health makes a world of difference. So of course some people look better despite age.
Well, I have somewhat goodish mental health. I don't have the best physique, but yeah, I think I'm gonna age better than most people.
I swear, the freaking every time I actually go on freaking social media, I feel like, somehow a part of me is just actually just dying off, and like, with Twitter and stuff like that, it just really freaking just messes you up.
Just look at it as one big joke, man.
Well,
And you're just gonna have to laugh at the absurdity of it all.
Alex's comment is kind of true. I mean, look at Vic and then look at Monica and Jamie.
Also, look at Amanda Wynn Lee. Good lord.
That woman needs to be committed, and she doesn't realize it. But once her son is old enough to live on his own, he's gonna run and never look back. Need I remind you of the adult joke she made about lotion?
Yeah, and also another thing, another person that I actually have in mind is LJ Montello. Don't even get me started on her. That chick
AKA the girl at like 18 or 19 that throat punched two 14-year-olds. And by throat punch, she shoved her tongue down their throat.
Yeah.
And then people were like, oh, but that was a skit. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. She forced her tongue down someone's throat, And if you look at one of the girls she's doing it, they're trying to push her off, like, "Hey, stop that!" And I'm like, if that's not evidence that this was unwanted, I don't know what is.
Also, Alex actually brings up another good point. Twitter is filled with mental pollution, and that I totally agree
I always
because
say, I believe a very wise, very southern, very sick gentleman once said this: "Twitter is the devil."
yeah, social media was like by far the biggest mistake. I mean, look at Mark Zuckerberg or
Actually, I blame whoever. I think it's Verizon, but whoever bought Tumblr, I blame them because the minute they got rid of the not safe for work stuff, everyone flooded Twitter.
yeah.
It was like the seal on Pandora's box. Once you broke the seal, all hell broke loose.
Yeah, and basically now there's
Or the light of hope ever.
Oh,
And
we
it comes
had our
with
light of
this
hope with
shit.
Parlor. We had our light of hope with Parlor. We were all going to escape to Parlor, and then the SJWs bitched about it, and things like Apple removed it from their thing as a thing, and it pretty much went down from there. So now we don't have Parlor.
We do
also
have
there's
minds.
yeah, Minds. Yeah, that one too. I mean, I've actually started my Minds account, and that's actually going pretty good.
I'm just posting a lot of anime and mecha stuff on Minds. Not gonna lie.
And Twitter is siding with the SJWs, but Twitter doesn't realize that it's pretty much like MySpace. Something like Facebook that's bigger and better will come along and they will be nothing.
Exactly.
I
It's only
can't wait for Vidly to launch off the ground, dude. Vidly's looking a lot like classic YouTube. Not gonna lie.
I mean,
oh no, Mama Susan, don't do this to us, Mama Susan. I'm sorry. I just actually had to do my "It's a Gundam" impersonation.
It's
basically,
a awesome YouTube channel. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like "It's a Gundam."
I had a MySpace.
He's basically how I imagine a young Al Bundy would look like.
I basically had a MySpace account for like a year or two, and then I found Facebook and I moved there. Now I hardly use Facebook, and eventually it'll be the same with Twitter. I'll eventually get to where I'm like, you know what? I prefer Minds over Twitter because I don't have to deal with stupid people on Minds like I do Twitter. But the only drawback is Minds will probably end up like Twitter.
Yeah, and Joshua Perez says, "Gag creator is a weirdo." Basically,
Also a Bundy asshole, but all right.
ow, stomach toe.
Hey,
I mean,
it
the
happens.
rare few times I get on Facebook is to see what my relatives are saying, and that's about it. Because
Yeah,
my relatives are on Instagram too, so I can easily go to Instagram if I need to know what they're doing.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I just actually, I actually might need to actually start a Instagram account. Just send some stuff as well.
I try to stay away from politics, but especially after I got told by Tara, if you've seen What the Fuck Is Wrong with You by Nash, she
Hang
does
on. I'll be
she does co-op stories with Nash, like guy glues his butt shut and that kind of stuff. Hence why it's called What the Fuck Is Wrong with You. Well, when I said I voted for Jill Stein because I didn't like Hillary or Trump, I was told, well, by her, well, you basically voted for Trump by voting for Jill Stein. I'm like, no, I voted for the person I thought wouldn't fuck the country up the most.
Yeah, basically, when you actually have a third option, it's either actually, it's always going to lead towards like one of the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, well, I didn't even vote this time because there was no third option because I don't like Trump and I don't like Biden because I think he's going through dementia because if you don't vote for me, you're not black. And it's like, so wait, if I voted for you, a white girl voted for you, I would turn black. Is that what you're saying, Biden?
Yeah, basically, I actually totally agree, and I think that basically he's just actually freaking gonna hand the keys to the White House over to Kamala Harris.
And then there's the thing of the poor kids are just as smart as the white kids. And I'm like, are you saying only people of color are poor? Because if that's the case, I'm pissed because I'm living in a trailer that leaks half the time during a rainstorm. No one's talking to you, Dad. But I'm living in a busted down trailer, and the way Biden makes it seem, I should have a nice big fancy house and a bunch of gobs of money. But I don't.
Yeah, and Alex also brings up another good point. Biden's a traitor and a meat puppet.
Oh yeah, didn't some footage come up showing him being a racist prick?
Yeah, exactly. It's just so freaking mind baffling how freaking politics work, and it's like what Nuts Taku said. Basically, politics is actually just a toxic fandom. It's just like K-pop.
I say we get rid of everyone in Congress and replace them with children because let's be honest, children cannot do worse than the adults we have right now.
I totally agree. I mean, basically, we need to actually get these boomers out of freaking out of out of uh out of politics because they're freaking the ones ruining this country, and get people who are willing to get the job done.
My dad is the rare example of wanting things to change. He was he was born during the baby boom.
Okay, what did I miss? Also, Alex is right. Biden's a traitor and a meat puppet.
I already covered that there, dude. Besides, basically, we're just actually talking about politics, but it's like I was saying, and I quote Nux Taco when I say this: politics is just a toxic fandom, just like K-pop.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
I mean, I always find the stories that are like, are millennials causing the price of liquor to drop? Find out. And it's like, why? Because liquor costs too much and most millennials are in crippling debt from college because they basically have it drilled we've basically had it drilled in our head since we were very small that you need a college education because apparently being a plumber won't pay well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The
I
old,
know.
if you ain't a college graduate, you're complete shit argument.
And this
Never
is why
mind.
I don't actually finish what you're trying to say there, Matt.
I mean, I dropped out of college because I wasn't having any of this social science bullshit shoved down my throat. I mean, I wanted to go to college so I could learn how to program and code my own video games. But no, they had to force their sociology and gender studies down my throat. That I was
I
like, fuck this, I'm out.
I love the people who are like, well, if you're a mechanic or a plumber, you obviously weren't smart enough to go to college and get a better job. And it's like, who do you think's gonna fix your car or your plumbing
Yeah,
when your little son Billy decides to pour Play-Doh down the toilet or pour sand in your gas tank? Huh? Who you think's gonna fix it? You? No. You're
yeah.
better
And,
able
and
to
last
get
I
the
checked, the
cell phone
smartest people
thing.
I know are actually plumbers and mechanics. Believe it or not.
Yeah, and
that's
Joshua
what
Perez.
that's
Hang
why
on, guys.
that's why it annoys me when people are like, if you work retail, tell you don't have a good job, and it's like, yeah, but where are you going to buy your clothes without retailers? Where are you going to buy your food without people to work in the grocery stores? You need to stop shitting on people who don't decide to become lawyers or doctors.
They
Exactly.
practically want everything to be automated except for their own jobs. So everyone, not even giving a fuck the consequences it will cause the rest of us.
My
Okay.
dad my dad basically says that all the rich people think they're going to survive when the planet is polluted and they want the poor people to die. And I'm like, they do realize that, there's not going to be anyone to serve them food at restaurants and stuff if the poor people die, right? Because the rich people
Yeah,
aren't
they
going to
think
want to work
automated.
those
They
jobs.
think everything will be automated by then. They're short-sighted hacks.
Yeah,
Exactly.
automation. Let's see a robot try and make a beef stew and not oversalt it.
Or
Also,
malfunction. You gotta have proper maintenance with automated work.
FYI, Woodrow Wilson resegregated the federal government and caused the KKK to come back. But because he's a dim, so nobody cares.
Man, fuck Woodrow Wilson. And fuck FDR too.
basically, this is just why I really don't like Democrats. I mean, they're just actually a party of stupid nowadays. Why don't
Dude,
actually
I
politics?
fucking hate Democrats. And that's coming from a guy who used to think that Republicans were the bad guys. Boy, was I fucking dumb back then. Jeez. What was I thinking?
I'm going to say this. The women who voted for Hillary only voted for her because she had the mighty V. That's the only reason. It's not the fact that she would have helped the country. It's she has the V, therefore we need our woman president. And it's like,
Ugh.
yeah,
They actually
no.
don't care what happens in the country if she's actually elected. Went henceforth why I was the big hoping the big T would win this election and not.
Basically, basically voting for someone just because their insert thing here is not a good reason. I mean, what would she have probably done, which I kind of doubt? Maybe get rid of the luxury tax on pads and women's products. Yeah, there's a luxury tax, and it's like, why the fuck am I having to pay for things for when my body is basically tearing the wallpaper down because I didn't give it a baby to grow?
Oh Jesus!
That's basically what it is. My body's pissed I didn't give it a pet baby to grow, so it's ripping the wallpaper down and throwing it in the garbage chute, and I'm laying in pain as my body is regurgitating blood from the nether regions.
Basically, this is just my personal thesis. This is why I don't like talking about politics because I really don't like. I'm on either side because for me, I'm just more of a guy that actually prefers getting both sides of the story and then basically just sifting out what's true. I was actually taught that, and basically, I'm still applying that to this day. So,
Yeah, pretty much the
Well,
same here nowadays.
the luxury tax I only hate because the whole pad things. Because I can easily buy men's razors to shave my legs and stuff because it's a razor. I mean, you'll get these idiots who will say, if a woman uses a man's razor on her leg, she'll skin herself alive. And it's like, that's not how skin works. Doesn't matter what gender you are, that's not how skin works. But unfortunately, and someone made a good point. Imagine if men had to go through menstruation. Guarantee there would not be a luxury tax on pads then.
Yeah, I also like what Alex said. The biggest problem with Republicans is that they're too soft.
Yeah, I mean, look at freaking brutal Mitch McConnell, for instance, and how he actually screwed over Donald Trump.
Man, good grief. I swear, that guy has no dick, like, at all.
Basically,
just
when it comes to candidates for president, I've now become apathetic, and it's basically, okay, which one isn't going to make the biggest shit show for the next 4 years?
Exactly, but
Yeah.
that's just the thing. See, people don't understand why people should just. Whoops, my bad.
I was
I don't
about
know
to
if he
say,
accidentally-
didn't he already say that?
Yeah, and I think we
It's
all
just that
agree Woodrow Wilson is a dickless hack.
Basically, with the candidates, it's, do I want to vote for the guy who's about to bash a baby's head in with a sledgehammer, or the guy who's rubbing a booger on a book? I'm basically going to choose the guy rubbing a booger on the book because while that sucks, the book is not a living, breathing creature.
Exactly.
Yeah, same here.
Basically, that's what's wrong with people nowadays. They're actually freaking trying to find whatever it is to actually make themselves like less respectful as people. And here's my personal thesis. People really need to learn to actually, stand their ground and say, enough is enough. We're actually sick and tired of this. Just freaking stop.
I
But you might as well.
also blame the parents who never said no to their children. Now we have parents who are like, my little angel can do no wrong. Yeah, he basically stole your fake leg that you need to walk, but he would never do wrong, and you can always buy a new leg. And it's like, no, Karen, that is a medical device. It costs lots of money, and I can't afford to buy a new one. Tell your little shit not to take people's fake legs.
Yeah,
I
believe
my
parents taught me well. I mean, they taught me well enough to know right from wrong. Granted, my dear mother has Trump derangement syndrome, but hey, that's neither here nor there.
Basically, thankfully, my siblings reprimand their children when they throw tantrums, but I look at a little brat that screams until either the parent with them finally like, fine, I'll get you the toy, basically saying, hey, throw a big enough fit and you'll get what you want. Or you basically have a worker who's like, I'm sorry, I can't give you this, and then the parent's like, why won't you get my little angel this? And it's like, if I had thrown a tantrum as a child, I'd have been told, you stop this right now. And if I kept on going about it, not only would we be in the car, but it'd be like, oh, just you wait till we get home.
Just wait till we get home.
And enough times I realized I don't want to wait till we get home thing. So I stopped throwing tantrums after a couple times. I basically would say, I want this doll, and my parents would be like, well, maybe for your birthday or for Christmas. And that would be like, I don't want to wait, but I'd rather not have just wait till we get home.
Yeah, trust me, I've actually had a few instances like that, and let's just say that there's this like one time that I refused to actually go to church. I can be a disrespectful little shit. I mean, But basically, growing up, and here's the thing: I was physically abused by both my parents, but my stepdad was basically the worst, and he actually did stuff to me and my older sister that I freaking still hate him to this day, like using a freaking a razor strap on both me and my older sister.
Yikes.
Oh man, that thing freaking
Ouch.
hurt.
I mean, the worst. The worst my parents ever did to me was spank my ass for acting out.
Yeah, I just
That's
basically got
That's
spanked.
after I broke a window after throwing a temper tantrum, saying no, they're not going to get me a Sega Genesis.
Basically,
I
that's
feel for
just
you,
the thing.
dude.
And I always kept getting locked. I kept getting freaking locked up in my room. That's why I became a bit of a shut-in. And why I actually usually like to shoot videos in my room, because it's actually kind of like my safe haven.
Well, if your mother ever says anything about you being an anime fan, you could always throw back the fact, well, gee, what was I supposed to do when I was locked in my room so much?
Exactly, and that's just the thing. People don't understand that, there are certain issues that people have to actually, that makes them, the way they are.
I mean, the reason I tend to like fantasy and fiction and stuff is because while my family was more or less loving to me, my mother kind of went around the bend at the end of her life, but she was a good mother when I was a child. But basically, the reason I escaped into fiction like Harry Potter, Sailor Moon, and stuff is because I was a lonely child because people bullied me in school, and my parents tried their best to try and make it stop, but because I was the poor fat girl, it was, well, our athletes would never do anything like that, so clearly your daughter's lying. So that kind of didn't help my mental problems either. But the reason I fell into anime and stuff is because I saw Sailor Moon, Usagi, this girl who was willing to try and be friends with anyone no matter what. I mean, she actually went up to a girl who had a reputation of basically beating people up, including teachers, all because said girl was tall and intimidating, and became friends with her. The same with the bookworm girl, where everyone was like, oh, I bet she'd rather just study the whole time. But it turns out that yes, Ami likes to study and stuff, but she wants to be a doctor like her mother, and will take time to have fun, like go to the beach and stuff. Basically, Usagi was the best friend I always wanted when I was growing up, because no one else would be my friend because of my issues, you see.
I totally agree, and I feel you. But here's the thing: I used to go through the same things because people always actually said that I actually had, like, quote unquote Roman germs, and basically if someone touched me and then basically they touched someone else without crossing their fingers, that's what actually freaking made them think that I was actually infectious, because it's just a freaking bullying tactic. And basically they also said that I had cooties and stuff like that. Freaking sad times, my dudes. Just
Oh,
sad.
yeah.
That's why it annoys me when people are like, "Oh, why do you care about fictional characters more than real people?" And it's like, because for a lot of us, these fictional characters are all we had to keep us from being like, you know what? I think it's a good idea to walk in front of a bus.
And just isekai ourselves. Basically, I mean, yeah, like I was telling, like, Queen Luna last week when we were actually doing like our live stream. Basically, I told her that anime was part of me, and she also actually had to agree with me, because anime was actually also a part of her as well.
Fruits Basket has become even more personal for me because it was my first manga series I ever got. I mean, I had watched animes from time to time, but I didn't really pick up a manga until my teen years, you know. But I
Yeah.
read the whole story and stuff, and then I pretty much had the same kind of thing with like Toru, the main character, in that my mother called me just before she left work and said, "Hey, put me a root beer in the ice box. I want something to drink when I get home." And I did that, and I'd normally say, "Be safe." And the one time I didn't, she was in a car accident and she ended up dying in the hospital. So I'm kind of a kindred spirit with Toru now because well, her thing was more she had overslept because she had been up studying, so she didn't say take care or whatever. I'm basically kindred spirits with Toru now because the one time we didn't say take care or be safe, that happened.
Also,
Yeah, I'm really with Alex on this one. I mean, on my end, it was more simple. This anime stuff is cool and different from everything else, and I want to see more of this. Exactly the same with me. When I first saw Akira, when I first saw Project Eika, when I first saw Venus Wars, when I first saw Dominion Tank Police, and basically most anything Masamune Shiro.
Well, basically because everyone refuses to move away from Cal arts and style, it's basically becoming cartoons from the 90s is new and different at this point because they actually had various styles during the 90s.
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I didn't actually. But here's my thing. I didn't actually get into Sailor Moon until I was about 13, but I kind of felt a little cheesy because both my older and younger sisters actually forced me to watch freaking Sailor Moon.
I think
We
it's the I think it's the fact that it's kind of, and I know you said My Little Pony's not your cup of tea, but one of the things that drew me to Friendship is Magic is that the main six female characters had different personalities and interests. It wasn't just likes clothes and makeup, likes clothes and makeup, likes clothes and makeup. You know, yeah, you had Rarity who was basically that, but she was smart and she was good at making clothes and stuff.
Yeah, I think
Basically,
I'd
everyone
gladly
was
take
different.
the '80s Transformers and GI Joe over what's being made nowadays. But you have to understand, back then, Western animation couldn't show violence and gore and people getting shot to pieces. But when the Japanese did it, it was like holy shit, motherfucking apocalypse now and shit.
When the Japanese did it, the blood was moved, and Luffy was hit with suction cups when One Piece came over for the first time.
Hey, that was more for kids. I'm more talking about Sci-Fi Channel back when they showed anime on Saturday mornings.
I know, it's just that it annoyed me because when you see Luffy pulling off suction cups, you can tell it hurts, and I'm like, unless there's glue on these suction cups pulling skin off, Luffy should not be in pain with suction cups.
Oh no. Henceforth, why I fucking hate fork kids and
I call
anyone
them
who
for
thinks
shame.
they could censor art because think of the children. Woo!
Have they
oh,
met children?
think of the kids. Oh, do you
Have
ever
they
think of the
met
kids?
children? Because
I'm just gonna quote George Carlin. Fuck the kids. They'll be all right.
because my every child goes. I never went through that phase, surprisingly, but most kids go through that. Hey, I wonder how many legs I can pull off this spider. And you're saying think of the children when violence is shown.
Oh, don't even get me started on that crap with Sony now. Basically, they've been censoring anime games for sexual reasons because it actually promotes the toxic male gaze, and now they're taking away freaking violence from those video games as well.
Again, Helen Lovejoy. Oh, won't someone please take in the children?
Why doesn't Sony do this? Have two versions of the game. One that's basically like bland oatmeal, and the other that has everything intact, but you have to be like 18 or something.
That's just the thing. It's all about morals to these people, and that's why freaking Nintendo is actually freaking so much better than freaking a Sony, since they're actually.
Nintendo has its own issues, has its own bullshit to deal with.
System. I'm tired of parents bitching about their little spawn getting a violent video game because they neglected to look and see if it was meant for children or not. I'm tired of that. I should not have to suffer for little Billy's mother, Karen, being like, oh, video game, yeah, this will be fine. And then being like, oh, there's hookers and blow. And it's like, yeah, because it's rated M for mature.
Rated M for mature, not M for minor. Jeez.
Is what you're looking for, Karen, when you want to get a game for your kid. Because when it's E, it's meant for everyone. Meaning there's not going to be hookers and blow or people shooting people.
Yeah, and basically they're trying to pass a law in Chicago, freaking banning violent video games, and I find that completely freaking stupid.
Chicago, see how that works for you with the.
All that's going to happen is a lot of people will just go to other parts of Illinois to buy their violent video games. That's all that's going to happen.
Exactly.
Alex?
Because if they can't order it online because Amazon or whatever will have a thing that says, oh, wait, this is going to Chicago. Sorry, due to laws, we can't sell this to you. They'll either go to like a GameStop outside of Chicago to get their games, or they'll get a P.O. box outside of Chicago to get their games sent to. You're not stopping it. You're just killing yourself when it comes to money, Chicago.
Yeah, and basically, in other words, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. And Alex actually brings up a freaking good point. Sony intentionally is killing their Japanese studios. I want to drop a colony on Silicon Valley.
Epic sure did nothing wrong.
I've seen the Walmart shelves in my area recently, and every other game that's been released is still selling out, but yet The Last of Us 2 still have a pile. It's gotten to a point where it's like, please, you only have to pay a penny for it. We can't go lower than a penny. Let's buy this so we can have the shelf space.
I'm not even touching that because it's actually just a piece of crap. And you know what I say? Okay, hang on. Fuck Neil Cuckman.
Fuck Neil Cuckman, but for the love of God, use a rubber, please. You don't know where that asshole's been.
But
oh God.
But it's true. I mean, it's kind of like the whole Captain Marvel thing where they're still selling out Battle Angel Alita, but Captain Marvel is still there at like $2, and it's like, me think wants to free them, and that's why they're going for
Suck it, Brie Larson.
Big time suck it.
I don't know how many people didn't see the movie because it was like my reason, but the minute she said, I don't want straight white men seeing it, I'm like, okay, I'm not welcomed either because either my dad or my uncles take me to see Marvel movies. So evidently I am not welcome either since you don't want them.
I'm like, adios, bitch. I'm going with a much better babe, like Rosa Salazar, who plays Alita in Battle Angel Alita. Again, hashtag suck it, Brie.
Basically,
and
Amber Heard's complaining about her reduced screen time, and I'm like, you know what? I will see Aquaman 2 if her reduced screen time is Wonder Woman holding her severed head.
oh god.
Thank you.
Also, Alex actually brings up another good point. California Dan Leland Lee tried to ban tax gains for violence, was caught doing actual crime. Chicago politicians are criminals by trade.
Again, hashtag Shard did fuck all wrong.
I've told my dad about damn it, it's been so long since I've seen the movie. Purge. That's what I'm talking about. He says it would never work because there's really nothing stopping people of following the rules to, go and kill politicians and stuff. But it's like the minute they had the thing of for the first time ever, politicians are on the killing list, and you have the other politicians who were trying to get rid of the one chick because she's like, we need to get rid of the purge, being like, wait, you're going to kill me? And it's like, hey, politicians are on the list now. And it's like, did you really think no one wasn't going to try to kill you when politicians were made fair game?
Exactly. It's just, freaking ridiculous.
I mean, I told my dad this. He'd be a high commodity item if the zombie apocalypse happened because he'd be someone who could teach the next generation how to fix cars for as long as you could use cars because he's a retired mechanic.
Exactly. And I usually like, whenever I'm actually on the road with my uncle, and we're actually out on like Sunday mornings and stuff like that, and we actually have it on talk radio. We'd actually would listen to like Ron Ananian, the car doctor, and
My
he
dad
actually
and
has.
I, before the show ended, my dad and I would listen to Click and Clack. And while was never big into learning how to fix cars, I always found it fun to listen to.
Exactly. And I usually listen to freaking talk radio for background noise, and it just freaking infuriates me how this country is acting as of late.
Dude, I used to listen to Howard Stern on my way to work way back in the day.
I remember there's this show my dad listens to, but I remember I'd hear it on the way home because my mom would drop me off at the library after school so that I could have some time on the internet. This was before we had our own thing at home. And we'd listen to the show every day. And one year, when he picked me up on April Fool's Day, they were doing a thing about exploding maples. And it sounded so real until they got to the Polynesian woman basically working in a factory to melt down maple furniture to make artificial maple syrup. And this guy comes in and says, hey, stop this crap and get back to work and tell that translator to leave because they have a translator for people who can't speak English. And it's when it hit me, I'm like, Dad, is this real? And then they say, and this ends our April Fool's edition. And we just busted out laughing because it's like, we thought it was real. We thought maple trees, if you weren't careful when putting the spout in to get the sap for syrup, could explode.
Basically, we do have maple trees up here in Maine, and basically, friggin', I haven't seen a freaking maple tree explode. So that kind of debauches that whole theory.
Yeah, but it was amazing how they made it seem so real because I'm listening to it like, holy shit, I'm glad we don't have maple trees in our yard. because some areas in Louisiana people have maple trees. And then they get to the part with the Polynesian woman, speaking Polynesian or whatever the language would be called, and the woman translating, and then the guy comes in and says, and tell that translator to leave, and how he'll fire her if she doesn't. And she's speaking Polynesian, and the woman's still translating and saying, "No, please, I need this job. Do not fire me." And I'm like, wait a minute. It took the melting of furniture for artificial maple syrup for me to be like, wait a minute, April Fool's Day thing. Because it was that good.
Yeah.
But that's kind of amazing. This be a perfect thing for warfare. You just figure out how to dig up a big enough maple tree and put it on the battlefield. Use like a sniper to shoot it and explode splinters and stuff into the enemy's face. Come to think of it, I'm adding that as a thing for my campaign. Because now that I've remembered it, it's going to be in my campaign. Exploding maples.
Oh,
Dude.
God, that would be interesting to see.
It starts out with them saying so and so, because this was so long ago, because I was a teenager at the time. But they say this guy is building a maple casket for his son, and he says, "I warned him. You have to be careful when you put the spout in the trays." But he never listened, and now I have to bury him in his maple casket. Because apparently his son was basically killed by a maple tree exploding because his son put the spout in the wrong way and the tree went boom.
Well, by an arrow to that, there, you sucker. May he actually rest in freaking peace. That's
Or
all I gotta say
pieces,
about that.
since the maple tree exploded. But
Oh boy.
But the minute my dad and I realized that it was an April Fool's thing, we just started cracking up because it's like, I can't believe we fell for that. The fact that it was called Exploding Maples should have tipped us off it wasn't a real thing.
Oh God. Basically, we up here in Maine actually do have like maple trees. I have not seen a single maple tree actually explode. So if we actually had freaking exploding maple trees up here, I think we would, as a state, would actually be afraid of maple trees.
Canada is our greatest ally, but also our feared possible enemy because they have
Yeah.
many maple trees.
And Justin Trudeau.
Oh God.
Oh yeah,
This is why I freaking hate politics.
I found out that because some asshole didn't want to take the proper channels when bringing in Japanese chestnut trees, the American chestnut tree went extinct in America. But there are some trees left in Canada, and they're trying to make a make a virus disease. Um, I'm forgetting the word, but basically the disease that the Japanese chestnut trees had that were brought in had basically ravaged the American chestnut trees. It's kind of like how when people from Europe first came to America, they ended up bringing smallpox that basically ravaged the indigenous people,
Ugh.
It's kind of like that, but there are some trees left in Canada, or the American chestnut. So they're basically taking taking the disease or virus or whatever that killed it in America, and they're trying to make saplings and stuff that are resistant to it, so that maybe one day we can have American chestnuts everywhere again.
Well, that's wishful thinking right there, and I think I'm actually going to call it good for now, guys. So,
Yeah.
you guys actually want to say some final words for our guests?
For the love
Matt?
of God, do stop listening to Karens who don't pay attention to the rating system of video games. They don't realize that there is a rating that says, hey, this is M for mature, not M for my little Billy.
That's a good one. Matt, do you actually have anything you want to say?
Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes, and fuck anime haters. Shard and fuck Silicon Valley. Shard did fuck all wrong.
Well, anyway, guys, this has actually been another live stream with yours truly, Mr. Anime 343. And just remember these three things, guys. Respect the waifus, enjoy your fandoms, anime is freedom. And until the next one, this is Mr. Anime 343 saying, sayonara, everyone.
Bye bye.